and welcome to Take Two. I am Sal Castaneda along with Pam Cook. And we're talking about some of the news of the day, some of the news that we ran right here on our newscast, except we get to go a little bit deeper.
Right.
So both of us had the same reaction today when it came to school being back in session in Brentwood today.
It's way too early.
Yeah, our Amanda Quintana, it is July 29th.
It's
right?
Crazy. I mean, we've complained, Amanda, for years. I know that no one's listening to me, but I've complained for years that it should be after Labor Day. And now it's not even August.
I agree. I always think of back to school as being September. That's just like the month I think of, like, you know, you're shopping for your notebooks, you're getting your new backpack.
Yes.
That's what comes to mind for me.
How are parents feeling out there? I mean, you've been out there because we're talking about, you know, them heading back to school. Are they excited? Are they feeling the same? Have you heard people saying, shoot, you know, we want to be on vacation. This is too early. What are you hearing?
Yeah. So it's interesting because Brentwood, the reason why they go back so early is because they have other breaks throughout the year. So like in March, they have a break. In October, they have a break. So the parents that I spoke to actually like that. They like that it's kind of spread out. They're used to it because they've been doing this for years. One parent I spoke to said, her kids went to school in the South Bay for a while and then they moved here, so it was new to them, but she actually likes it more because they have the breaks throughout the year. And something interesting she said was the kids during summer break, they don't like forget all the things that they learned at school, and it's kind of easier to get back into the routine, which I could see that. I get that, but I would prefer a longer summer break.
Right. There's a lot of talk of that summer slide. Right, where they forget.
So I've been, since I'm a math guy, I've been doing math at home with my kids.
Nice.
Because I love math.
Nice, me too.
But I can already tell that there's been a little bit of a drop off, so you have to kind of keep it up. However, I do like what Amanda said about having a bigger break in October, for example.
Right.
Or maybe spring break is 2 weeks.
Right.
Or Christmas break is 2 weeks.
That is kind of nice, have the extra time. What's the weather like out there, Amanda? Because I know that's kind of the other consideration when it's so hot. I mean, Brentwood can be, we've had, no, there she is. It's, we have had a cooler summer, which is nice, because Brentwood can be pretty toasty this time of year. So heading back to school and worrying about air conditioning.
It's pretty toasty right now.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay. I see you've got the jacket off. So.
I mean, it's... Yeah, I took the jacket off. It's good that I wore no sleeves today because it's pretty hot, I think. But the kids and the parents didn't seem concerned about that at all going into the school. You know, they preferred, I guess, coming at the end of July, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. Another part of your report today was, Amanda, was about cell phones and how in Brentwood, I'm not sure if they take them and put them in a bag or if they just tell you to keep them in your backpack, and if they come out, they're going to take them from you. What is it there, and what is the state doing? Because I heard you say that the state is adopting a similar policy.
Yeah, so it's a statewide law that was passed. So every school district in the state needs to come up with a policy to try to get smartphones out of the classroom as much as possible. So they have to have that policy by next summer. Here in Brentwood, they just passed the policy in May. So as soon as they're coming back to school now, it's brand new. They're ready for it. So there's not like a bag or anything that you have to put your device into, but you have to have it in your backpack. It has to be off. And it's not just your smartphone. It's like if you have Bluetooth headphones, if you have a smart watch, an iPad, all those things have to be off and in the backpack. I talked to parents about it. They are a fan of this policy. Every parent I spoke to said, this is great. I love this policy. Some parents even said, you know, we already had this rule as a family. As soon as you go to school, your phone is in your backpack, because kids just get distracted by it so easily. I get distracted by it. I think everybody gets distracted, even if you just have your watch and it dings like, oh, I got a text.
That's interesting that they're including this.
You shouldn't have that in school.
Yeah, it's good that they're including the smartwatches, because that is an extra. Well, it seems. I mean, so they just have to have some kind of policy in place, because my two girls are already out of college now recently, but even then, when they're in middle school, like if your phone went off, if you pulled it out, you got it taken for 24 hours. They didn't even get to come home with it. It stays at school.
Yeah, that's the policy at my kids' school already. So I think most parents are for it. The kids may not like it, but it's the parents and now the state legislature who made this rule. One last question here for you, Amanda, is when people are coming back to school now, you know, obviously they've done all their back-to-school shopping and stuff. Are there other districts? Do you know if everyone in that county does the same? Is like Antioch the same? Is Concord the same? Or is this a Brentwood thing?
So this is just the Brentwood school district that comes back today. All of the other large school districts, and by that I mean all of the other school districts that have more than 10,000 students, go back in August. So this is, you know, unusual. Most of the large school districts are like mid-August, you know, 13th, around there. So this is the only school district that I have found that comes back in July.
All right, Amanda Quintana reporting live. Stay cool out there. Thanks for your good reporting this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
She said September, or did you say September?
She did, but that's, to me, sounds like back to school September also, right?
I mean, that doesn't happen.
No.
And remember, I mean, when you and I, same era of college.
Right.
Cal, for me, back when I was a student, started in August.
Yeah. Oh, no, UCLA started in almost October.
Oh.
Yeah,
because
college
you were on a semester.
Quarter. Yep.
Yeah, so things, I don't know.
October's a little late, but I mean, September seems like when
September seems like a good compromise. All right, coming back, when we come back on Take Two, we're going to talk about more news of the day. There's something I want to talk about that I found interesting in a podcast we were talking about earlier this morning. Stay tuned.
Dollars and cents?
Maybe. Welcome back to Take Two. I'm Sal Castaneda. Pam Cook is here. We just finished the 9, and we always do this after the 9. One of our anchors or reporters will be here talking about the news of the day. I was really interested today in a story you did for our news, but also for the podcast, having an 18-year-old have title to the car that they are driving for liability reasons. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, you know, because my kids are older than that now, and I realized, especially when my younger one headed down to Los Angeles for college and driving around, and there's 5 million freeways going here and there and a lot of traffic and craziness. And I remember thinking, you know, another friend, you know, their kid was in a car accident. I thought, oh my gosh, if your kid's, I mean, God forbid, like aside from the worst case scenario that your kid is injured, if they're in an accident and it's their fault, even if it's a fender bender or something, if the car's in your name, if the insurance is under your policy, you could be held liable. And so if the other person's injured, if the other person is not completely honest, I mean, the other person could be, oh, I can't work, I don't feel good.
Right.
You know, they go after all kinds of things.
They're going to go after the deep pockets, in which case
the deep pockets are us.
The parents, right?
Exactly.
Not the kid.
And they see that, and unfortunately, there are people who prey on that. They see, you know, this college kid, but it just makes financial sense because it seems crazy to have them have all of that in their own responsibility. The car, it doesn't matter. So I talked to Jason Matthews, and Matthews financial and insurance solutions, finance and insurance solutions. So he's a financial advisor. He talks about insurance. And I contacted him about this because I asked my insurance agent, and they said, absolutely. We advise our clients, our customers, when your kid turns 18, get them their own insurance policy. Right. And what's really great, you can still pay for the insurance. I mean, your kid probably doesn't have the money to pay for it, and it's expensive. You know, her insurance is not cheap because she's down in Los Angeles driving. But it doesn't matter, even if you are paying for the car, if you finance the car, you co-sign the car, you're paying for the insurance, it doesn't matter. As long as the title is in their name and the insurance policy is under their name and their responsibility, then your finances are protected.
Right. And the other question I have is, many times, though, if they are younger than 18, though, and let's say they're 17 and they're driving to school, that's a tough time because they're still children, and so you're still on the hook. That would be a more dangerous time, I would say, but for them. So can you get more insurance?
Yes.
For that purpose, maybe an umbrella policy or something like
that. Yes, good point. And Jason talks about that a little bit, about getting that extra umbrella policy, because yes, if they're under the age of 18, you are liable. You know, they're a minor and they're driving to school, they're driving places, and you want them to learn about being a safe driver, but it's also, you know, they're new. And so they're not always prepared for every situation that comes up. But that is a really good good point to make, to get that extra insurance. And you know, if we want to hear, we have Jason talking about it himself, talking about the if we can listen to Jason talk about the benefits of having them on their own policy.
If anything, God forbid, happens, they're driving, they get in a major car accident, you could be held liable as a car owner, and someone could sue you upon that time.
So that's something to consider when you are letting someone drive your car, right? Even if you're letting someone borrow your car, whether they're a relative, your child, you could be held liable as the owner of the car. You're allowing that person to drive your car. So better, you think about, oh gosh, I don't want to get my kid their own car, but it's better for you to get them their own car, if you can find some kind of nice deal on a used car, to have them under their own title. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, and it sounded, you know, kind of something, a topic you're not going to want to talk about with your kid, but he talked about the importance of having a will established for your child when they turn 18. And the reason you think, oh gosh, it's such a dismal conversation to have, but he said, just not even aside from, God forbid, the worst case scenario of something happening to your child, having a will in place, it's really about, I mean, my nephew was away in college in Chicago and he tore his ACL. Well, his parents can't talk to the doctor. They can't talk to a specialist. They can't talk to, they can't help in that way.
So you put in the will a directive that said these people are allowed to talk to the doctor.
Talk to the doctors. You can come visit your child. Like you can't even go in to see them necessarily if they're unconscious.
Right. These are all the adult things that our parents did that we didn't have to worry about. Guess who the parents are now?
We're now the parents. We have to worry about that. And with kids going off to college, these are you're exciting and it's exciting. You're thinking about outfitting their dorm, but you really need to do take these steps to protect your finances and to make sure everybody's
One more
secure.
thing, and I like your podcast because it has all these, really practical things. Have you had a podcast yet where you explore all the types of insurance that people should responsibly get? For example,
right.
Went to Las Vegas this weekend for a basketball tournament. I rented a car.
Yep.
I made sure that my auto policy covered, and I also made sure what it covered in case I were to get into a crash in that car, right?
Right.
Just knowing is better, right? And if you think, oh, that's not enough to cover my assets, then you get something beefier.
Okay.
Have you had a podcast like that?
I have not, but you know what? I'll have Jason come on because he's amazing and he has such great advice. Jason Matthews for insurance. And that's a really great, because that's a great conversation to have because we all have been there, right? You're on vacation and let's get the rental car so we can go have fun. And then they ask you, do you want extra insurance? Do I need that?
Right.
Should I get that? Does my insurance cover it? So that's a really good point.
Some people say that in a foreign country, I listen to stuff or watch, in a foreign country, since some of the laws over there don't apply, you should actually get that supplemental coverage because you don't know if it's, all that.
You're in another place.
It's like, okay, you pay the money because they say you can just walk away, right? For damage to the car or whatever.
Right.
So, but in the United States, more strict laws apply. I would love to hear from
That's a great point, and I'll ask him about homeowners insurance and having extra insurance, also renters insurance, again, talking about whether you're renting or your kids
heading off. Can I just write the questions for you?
Let's discuss. Send us the questions of everything you want to know because, and it's also like that replacement value insurance. There are a lot of insurance questions.
This is why I like podcasts. You can go, like, if you're not interested, don't bother to listen. I'll be listening.
Okay. We're going to have that on Dollars and Cents. There it is. On cue. Search Dollars and Cents. We have some great topics on there. I've had some really great guests, and it's been a lot of fun. So I've talked about sustainable fashion on there, and we had Dr. Lehman talking about the business of sports and the Valkyries and the value that they have brought to the city of San Francisco. So, yeah, some good stuff. So insurance will be next.
All right. Stay with us on Take Two because I have another interesting topic I'm going to bring up with Miss Pam Cook coming up back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome to Take Two. I'm Sal Castaneda. Pam Cook is with me, and we do have some comments. You can comment or ask a question there on the YouTube channel, and then we'll read some of them, and we will answer questions when we can. Pam, I want to talk about travel, because some people are doing their last vacations before school.
Before school starts.
Right. And today we had a story about Southwest now making available seats that you can reserve. And they're going to go to all reserved seats by this time next year. It should be done, but they're starting the process early. Also, Southwest used to give you 2 free bags checked, and now it doesn't, right? So
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah, the trend is going, and Southwest seems to think it's going to maybe attract more people. There's a reason why they did it. A big company like this, Pam, as you know, as the business correspondent we have here, business anchor, they don't do this without doing a lot of research. What do you think, or what have they said about why they're doing this?
Well, it's all about money. I mean, really, they were really the last holdout, I think, as far as the free bags go, right? So it's been a big perk for Southwest. If you have a Southwest credit card, or you're on the top tier of their loyalty program, which you have to fly quite a bit, you still get 1 bag free. But that's been a perk they've been able to offer for 2 free bags. That I have literally chosen Southwest over other airlines because of the 2 free bags policy, because that saves you a ton of money, especially you're traveling family of 4, you know, suitcases. That saves you a ton of money. But they're really the last ones. Every airline has been charging for bags, they've been charging for seats, they've been charging for early boarding, they've been charging for extra legroom. You know, so Southwest is just a little bit behind. Even JetBlue, I think for a while there, all the seats were available. So it's really about money for these airlines.
And since everyone is doing it,
yeah.
But I would have thought that, you know, maybe Southwest's advantage was, since it wasn't doing that, it would attract that market share. It doesn't sound like anyone's too happy about having to pay.
It's going to be really interesting. I think they're going to lose people. I think they're going to lose a lot of people, because I think people were specifically choosing Southwest, even if it wasn't as convenient, right? Or even if they had to make, you know, like I looked at it from flying from here to New York. Chances are you're going to have to stop somewhere. You're going to have to stop in Denver or somewhere. But if you get your free bags, you might choose that. But now, if you're going to have to pay for your bags and you're going to eventually have to pay for your seat, then I'm really going to go with the lowest fare and the most convenient. You want a nonstop flight, you might pay for a little bit extra. I'd rather spend the money on a nonstop flight than to pay for my seats in most cases, but that can be kind of pricey too, paying for your seats now. You were talking about, for you didn't like the lineup in Southwest, and I'd rather
pay. I mean, so I read an article where someone was analyzing the airline industry, and they say price is still the dominant factor. However, I forget what they use, that little things, little nuances that you're willing to pay for that are important to you. You may not care about trying to find a seat, but you may care about more legroom. Or it's like an a la carte menu system. Yeah. I don't need this. I need this. I don't need this. I need this. So it used to be that you got everything in one package.
Right.
And maybe some people didn't care.
And now it just really adds up. I mean, because again, and then I noticed the last flight that I booked for us going to New York again, then you have to, so you can pay this amount for this seat, $41. These seats are included, but there aren't very many, and they're way in the back of the plane. So you're not going to, get off sooner if you care about that, or maybe you're too close to the bathroom and the service area where the flight attendants are busy with stuff. So you can move up here and you're $41, and then you want to move up here, it could be $79 for a seat per
I know.
person.
I mean, and then I wonder,
really adds up.
People who, by the way, we saw Joe Montana on our flight.
Oh, wow.
To Las Vegas, right? He was sitting in first class, of course.
Of course.
But he was very nice. He watches us. You know why I know he watches us?
Why?
Because he knew my name.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, so he must know your name, right?
Joe Montana knows your name?
Knows my name? Yeah. He knew my name. So why does he know my name? Because he watches us, and he talked about Mark Ibanez.
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
That's so cool.
So he knows you, Pam Cook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If Joe Montana knows me, that's pretty cool.
I was such a nice guy.
Of course he knows Sal. I don't know if he knows me, but of course he knows you. That's cool. No, he always seemed very nice. I never met him in person. Jerry Rice used to come in quite a bit. Super nice.
Yeah.
I think we have the nicest athletes, honestly.
They're pretty
around,
nice to us,
right?
I
The
would say.
Warriors, everybody's
I would say.
pretty nice. But yeah, it's really interesting where everything's going. I find this is the part that I find really kind of irritating when you're flying now. But I will say it's a little bit of a hack, right? Is everybody's squeezing their suitcase. So maybe you're packing less because you bring your carry-on bag instead.
Right, and you don't check.
And you don't check a bag. So now it's this, gosh, everybody is sticking those those suitcases
By the way,
in
the
the
overhead
bins.
bins on the modern airliners are way bigger.
Right. Well, so they're small, though. They limit you. And then you know what they tell you? Excuse me, whose backpack is this? You got to take it out of the overhead. Now you've got to stuff your big backpack under your seat because all the carry-on bags. But here's a hack. If the plane is full, they'll start asking for people to check their bag for free.
For free.
Yeah.
Right? They were doing that this weekend.
Yeah.
So we have a nice week coming up because we have a lot of earnings coming in this week.
We have a ton of earnings.
Right, so we're going to be relying on you. I'm just kind of interested to see how this week of earnings
so far, so good. The
will
tech
affect the economy.
Right. Tech earnings have been pretty good so far. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated, dollars and cents.
All right, that's Take Two for today. Pam Cook, always interesting to have her. And we do this every day after the 9. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time right here on Take Two.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudine Wong. Welcome to Second Look. I've had the chance to tell so many great stories over the years and to meet so many amazing people. And I often get asked, whatever happened to this group? Or how is that person doing now? Well, on this show, we try and answer those questions. It is all about catching you up and giving you a second look at some of those stories that we've told you throughout the years. All right, everyone. So excited about this episode. Look who I have in studio with me. Eli Stams, Joe Farrell, The Bromance. That's what this show is called. This show is called The Bromance. And while you guys have your own individual families, there is something very, very special about you guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, doing great.
Yeah.
Still getting along?
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit.
We
yeah,
drove here
yeah,
together.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Oh,
yes.
because it's been 7 years. It'll be 7 years in December since we did our first story together.
Yes.